Hello, and thanks for stopping back at my channel. It's Lisa, and today we have an art journal page for you. Here is some product that was given to me by a company called inloveartshop.com, and I will list everything below. I thought I was going to try and get all of this stuff in my art journal page, but things went terribly wrong and I only got to use one item. But look at this really cool die set that they sent me with clouds and a sun. I'll definitely use this one. But here we go. This is a art journal book that I have had for a while, and it's real nice because the pages are real heavy and they're made with watercolor paper. And I like that the book lays flat. It has that spiral binding on the side. So I'm going to get started with a gessoed background, and I'm going to use some acrylic paint. I was messing with my camera there because I've been having problems with my camera mount, and you will see that as I was working with this product and project, my actual new mount came from Archon, and I will let you see what I got during the video, and I also have a discount code for you if you want to order one. So far it has made a huge improvement to my workspace. So my background is gessoed, and I'm using some acrylic paint that I had received from my sister for Christmas, and they are by Plaid, and they're called Simply Screen paints. The green one is Appletini, and the pink one is Pink Pony. And then I was going to use a deco art product, but I don't think I actually used it in the project. So we'll go along here and see what happens. I'm putting the product down with my makeup sponge and just streaks, and I have a piece of paper underneath so it doesn't transfer on the sides of my art journal book. And like I said, I had some little problems with this piece, as you know, sometimes I do. And I left the problems and the fixes in the video. I want you to tell me in the description below if you'd like to see that. If you don't want to see the bloopers, as I call them, the mistakes and how I fix them, I certainly could leave them out. But I think that it's helpful because we all have mistakes when we're creating our art and our pieces. And it's like, okay, now what do I do? Well, if you see me struggle through, it's a little bit easier to decide what to do with it. So I put that paint down, and it was very, very creamy and smooth. So I thought maybe to make it a little bit different, I'd use this stencil. It's by Tim Holtz, and I believe this one is called Bubbles. I will look for it and put it in the description, of course, with a link. And I really like how that turned out by using that reverse stenciling technique. I just picked up some of that color with my baby wipe. Now here is a great big stamp press, and here is the stamp that was given to me by In Love Art Shop, and I wanted to press it on my stamp press, but then I realized that there's a big bump there, so I turned it over onto the back side to see if I could get it to work like that. And by the way, this stamp is called Dreamcatcher, and I'll list it, of course, and that made it a lot smoother. I'm just using a eraser to erase that stamp. It's the first time I'm using it, and I believe that it does help a little bit by getting a good first impression. Here I'm using my archival ink, and I noticed that it's not very inky, So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna run and get my my other one that's a VersaFine in Onyx Black, and I go ahead and stamp that down. Well, it works, and I'm going to line it up, and I thought, oh, I should just sneak it onto this cushion there, my stamping cushion, and oh, look at what I did. I moved it so it got all messed up. I gave it a dry, and then I'm going to cover the whole thing up with gesso, and I'm going to start over. So like I said, I left that in for you to see because it happened. Here's my new stamp mount. It just came. It's by Archon, and I really, really love it. It's perfect for using the type of video area that I have. And like I said, I'll get you a discount code. I'll link it up above, and it'll get you 20% off. And I found this product at Creativation, and I'm super excited about it. Okay, back to the project. Again, that's Archon mounts. Little commercial for you there. I gessoed it, I put the ink down, and I used that reverse stamping technique with the stamp, just like we did before, and I got it dry. So let's try it again. So now I'm going to be smart, and I'm going to use that rubber stamping, I don't know what it's called, a stamping mat. I put the stamp down on the correct side of my stamp press. I inked up my archival ink, and I'm gonna go to town here and get a really, really good impression. Okay, so now I have it down, and I re-inked my archival ink stamp pad, and look at that, gorgeous. It worked out so good. Again, the name of this stamp is called Dreamcatcher, and I think it's only like $2 on the website, and again, I'll link it below in case you need it. I'm giving it a quick dry because I've had problems with this already today, and I didn't want to smear it. So what I was thinking was I would create the stamped image all the way across the bottom of the page, and I'm going to do some coloring, and I'm going to make it really quite cool. So bear with me. We're going to stamp it again and getting it all lined up, and here we go. Crossing my fingers at this point that I didn't smudge it again. I was being real careful. So we're into February, and time is flying. Let me know if you got any fun things coming up. I'm just going to stamp that final edge, and I'm going to put it down on the edge of my art journal book. Kind of eyeballing where it would line up. And I think it's really neat. I really liked the stamp. Like I said, I wanted to put more of the product in the video, but it really didn't call for much more. That is a real great piece all by itself, I think. So here's what it looks like a little bit up close. And can you see the difference in my filming? That Archon camera mount is really making a big difference, I thought. So here I'm using one of my markers, and it is called Indenti pen, and it's permanent, and it's going to be dual ended, and I'm going around just to join those areas where the stamp met, so that it looks all cohesive. Just adding in some lines. This really looked Zentangle to me, this project. And if you're not familiar with that, I'll show you at the end of the video what I'm talking about. It's just another form of art. There's many types, and Zentangle is, a really interesting thing. You can really get into it. A lot of times it's just black and white, but for me, I'm going to add a lot of color to this background, and the markers that I have there are Dilutions paint pens, and I got these from, I think, Michael's, and they're by Ranger. There's Cherry Pie, Funky Fuchsia, Pure Sunshine, Dirty Martini. The other blue one, let's see, is Camp So Teal, and there's Melted Chocolate. So I'm going to color a lot of this in, and of course I had to do it off camera or we would be here forever. It did take me a long time, and I really liked the outcome. And like I said, I didn't add too many more stamps or bells or whistles because it really didn't need anything. It really turned out cool. So here I'm using one of my white paint markers, and I'm really having problems finding the best paint markers. If anyone has any suggestions for me to try, I sure would love to get some new ones. These are okay. They didn't work the best for me. They had a hard time coming out. This one was an oil-based one, Sharpie. That wasn't so wonderful either. So I would really like to get some new paint markers, paint pens, whatever you call them. And I would love your suggestions. So leave it in the description below. And who knows, if I get some and I use them on camera, maybe I'll get 2 sets and we could do a giveaway. So let me know and I'll see what I can do. So I'm just using that black marker that I had earlier with the 2 sides and just filling in if I went over any of those lines. Look at all that color. It really came together, didn't it? I like right in the middle on the bottom and on the middle right between those grid lines. I really liked how that background was showing through. I thought about covering it up, and I really liked it, so I left it. I'm adding some white Signo gel pen with my black there, and then I had some of these chip quotes, and I thought creativity takes courage. Perfect for this background, because it took courage to keep on going and took courage to think out of the box. Here I'm using some pattern paper and that little punch that I had there, some Connect glue by Gina K, and I'm putting down some little circles of paper in the middle of those flowers. It just adds another little bit of texture and dimension to the piece, and I didn't have a small punch, so I used my hole punch, and that worked just great. I hope you liked this project, and like I said, let me know if you like the bloopers, and if you don't, I'll take them out. Certainly will. I just kind of think maybe it's beneficial to see how you can overcome some of those problems. And also, if you have any suggestions for some paint markers or paint pens, I would really like the suggestions. I just haven't found any that I like yet. And I like to color and paint with them. I like to go over the acrylic paint and use them in backgrounds, but I just have a real hard time finding one that I really like. So let me know, and I'll have some close-ups here in the end, and we will talk to you soon. Tuesday we have a really cool mixed media page, and we're featuring Stamperia, and that company is near and dear to my heart, and hopefully soon I'll have a little information on meeting with the company when I was at Creativation. They had a great booth, they have great products, and I'm just going to finish the piece here with, of course, that black edge. I'm using a black chalk writer, and we're going to smudge the edges. I always like that look. I added that charcoal pencil around the top of the circles, added the black edge to the sentiment quote, and we're going to adhere that down to the piece and let it dry. Do a few final touch-ups, and we'll look at the final products just using that clip to adhere that while it dries. You can see over to the left, I did color in the corners, the edge, with the black marker. And here is some of the information that I said, that Zentangle. Here's a Zentangle piece I made a long time ago. But here's a couple of books, and I can link them below if you're interested. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Have a great weekend. Thanks so much.